This eerie footage was captured by Igor, a man living in the remote Siberian forests of Russia. His home, isolated and surrounded by dense woods, is no stranger to the typical sounds of the wilderness. However, the past few nights brought something entirely different. Strange, unsettling growls emanating from the trees near his home. While Igor is accustomed to hearing the usual noises of forest animals, these sounds were unlike anything he had ever encountered. On this particular night, the growls returned, louder and more persistent than ever. Determined to uncover the source, Igor grabbed his night vision camera and ventured out into the darkness. What he captured that night would leave even the bravest among us shaken. As he stepped into the pitch-black night, Igor steadied his hand and activated the night vision on his camera, hoping to locate the source of the terrifying noises. Then, he saw it.
Иди отсюда!
The footage shows a shadowy figure just beyond the tree line. Igor called out, his voice breaking the eerie silence, but the creature didn't respond. Instead, it stood there, watching him from the darkness before retreating back into the trees. At one point in the recording, the creature can be seen sitting in the grass, his gaze seemingly fixed on Igor. The unsettling part? It appeared to be watching him clearly, as if it didn't need night vision to see. When the figure seemed to creep closer, Igor retreated to the safety of his home. What he encountered that night remains a mystery. Since then, there have been no updates, only lingering questions and endless speculation about what lurked outside his door. If you found this encounter chilling, prepare yourself for what comes next. This Bigfoot or Yeti sighting originates from Lake Worth, Texas. The exact date of the photo remains unknown, but it has been dubbed the infamous Lake Worth Monster. Although details are scarce, we know the image was captured by a trail camera in a remote forested field. It shows a creature covered in thick, white, bushy fur walking through the area. Its dome-shaped head and broad shoulders give it the classic Sasquatch appearance. Notably, its left arm is exceptionally thick, and the fur appears to cling closely to its body, not just on its arms but across its back and entire frame. Beneath the fur, the creature seems incredibly muscular. While most Bigfoot sightings describe creatures with dark fur, this one stands out due to its white coloration, leading many to speculate that it might be a Yeti. The Yeti, also known as the Abominable Snowman, is a legendary cryptid believed to inhabit the remote mountainous regions of the Himalayas. One of the most enduring figures in global folklore, the Yeti is often depicted as a massive, ape-like creature cloaked in mystery and fear. Typically, it is described as a bipedal being standing between 6 and 10 feet tall, covered in thick, shaggy fur, usually white, brown, or gray, to protect it from the extreme cold. The Yeti's fur helps it blend seamlessly into snowy landscapes, while its facial features are often described as more human-like than animalistic. Its muscular build and lurching, heavy gait set it apart from other creatures. Yeti sightings often include reports of enormous footprints, measuring between 13 and 15 inches long, as primary evidence of its existence. In 1921, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Howard Berry reported discovering mysterious large footprints on the slopes of Mount Everest. attributing them to a wild creature. Similarly, in 1951, British mountaineer Eric Shipton photographed a series of massive footprints in the snow, images that remain some of the most iconic pieces of Yeti evidence. Here is Shipton's famous photograph, still regarded as one of the strongest pieces of evidence supporting the Yeti's existence. It's certainly intriguing. A new Bigfoot sighting was posted on November 25th, 2024. The video description states, "Rancher checks on his brush burn pile on his remote land, but gets a shocking surprise." According to the uploader, the driver was initially unaware of the massive figure, as he was focused on the burn pile and not paying much attention to his surroundings. However, when he later reviewed his dash cam footage, he spotted it. A large, dark, hairy creature standing upright behind a shed and blending into the nearby trees. To help viewers see the figure more clearly, the uploader slowed down the footage. The creature, towering over the shed, is estimated to be at least 8 feet tall, as the shed itself is roughly 6 feet high. Upon closer inspection, the creature's fur appears to be dark black, gradually fading to a lighter brownish shade around its stomach, an intriguing detail. One of the most striking aspects of the footage is how the Sasquatch remains motionless, seemingly trying to blend into its surroundings to avoid detection. While this tactic worked in real time, the dashcam unknowingly captured its presence. Although the dashcam's low frame rate prevents a completely clear image, the footage still offers compelling evidence. The location of the sighting wasn't specified, but it's believed to have occurred in a remote part of Canada. What do you think? Is this genuine evidence of Bigfoot, or could it somehow be a hoax? Share your thoughts. Following intriguing video was shot by 2 hikers who climbed the well-known Mount St. Helens. These places have already appeared in other Bigfoot encounters, for example, the popular story about the Bigfoot attack on miners in 1924. It happened in Monkey Canyon. This is a gorge on the edge of the Plains of Abraham, on the southeastern slope of Mount St. Helens. Let's take a look at what the men managed to capture.
Hey, there's something down there. You see that in the clearing?
Oh, yeah.
We see a tall black figure that looks like a man running away from the sounds of falling stones. There is a possibility that he noticed 2 men who were filming him. At this distance, it's hard to tell what it really is, but its size makes it impossible to doubt that this creature is taller than a human. Many people manage to capture Bigfoots on this mountain, if you look at these photos, but it looks like all these Bigfoots are similar. Maybe it's all one big family. Very intriguing, isn't it? Give your opinion in the comments. Let's examine another Bigfoot sighting that gained attention on September 21st, 2024. According to the caption, the photo was originally taken by a woman on a hike in Northern California on New Year's Day in 2020. The account, Boise Bigfoot, claims the woman encountered a tall, hairy figure peering over a ridgeline while traversing a remote mountainous trail. They conducted an analysis of the figure's height, comparing it to the surrounding geography, and estimated it to be around 7 to 8 feet tall. Zooming in for a closer look, despite the photo being blurry, some facial features can still be discerned. The figure appears to have a cone-shaped head, a lighter-colored face, large eyes, and a prominent nose. Skeptics have suggested it could be a bear, which seems plausible at first glance. However, the creature's wide, muscular shoulders and conical head differ significantly from a bear's inward-sloping shoulders and rounded head. When comparing the build of this figure to that of a bear, the differences become apparent. This figure has a more human or ape-like physique, while a bear's body structure doesn't align with these characteristics. For some, this rules out the bear theory. Speculation continues, with some suggesting the creature might be a dogman, while others lean toward it being a Bigfoot due to their similar builds. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Voyager Overland YouTube channel is dedicated to active Jeep driving, off-road driving, camping. They show picturesque places and incredible landscapes, views, and camping places. This is what they love. Earlier this summer, the channel's author, grandfather, his grandchildren, and his wife went on a trip to the Ruby Falls Mountains in Alberta.
And when I asked them where they wanted to go, they both said the same thing. They said,
Ruby Falls!
So I guess that's where we're heading.
After going there, they found what they needed, parked and set up a small camp, looked at the waterfall. After a while arriving at another place and settling down there, the author of the channel decided to install a trail cam around the camp in the hope of discovering wild animals, but he did not manage to shoot a more frightening video. In these frames, we can see a humanoid creature that sneaked into their camp at night. The creature walks and looks around. Perhaps it has seen something similar before. What is particularly puzzling is that at times this creature appears to be somewhat translucent, perhaps due to blurring of the image when moving, insufficient infrared camera lighting, or a combination of both. As someone who uses Bigfoot surveillance cameras for research, I've never come across anything like this before. To better analyze the footage, I applied a light filter to make the object more visible and increased it by 150%. Although I'm not sure what's going on here, it's definitely weird and intriguing. Such meetings are extremely rare, and you should always remember that this can happen to you. This is a highly debated Bigfoot photo that gained attention on Instagram earlier this year. Like much Bigfoot evidence, details surrounding its origin are scarce, leaving people puzzled. However, the photo itself is strikingly clear and high definition, making it a standout piece worth showcasing. The image depicts a sasquatch with light brown fur, and the level of detail is remarkable. You can clearly see defined forehead wrinkles, dark eyes, a small nose, and a slightly open, human-like mouth. The creature's hand is particularly noteworthy. It appears hairless, human-like, but significantly larger in size. Additionally, its chest area shows hair thinning slightly, exposing parts of its pectoral muscles and skin. The fur lies close to the body, revealing a wide, muscular build. This photo is particularly intriguing and controversial because opinions are sharply divided. Skeptics argue that the creature is nothing more than a costume, citing similarities to props like the ones used in Jack Link's commercials. On the other hand, believers claim it looks far too realistic to be a mere costume or prop. So what do you think? Do you agree with the skeptics? Or does this photo convince you to side with the believers? The decision is yours. This footage was shared by Mark, also known as Livewire. Just a heads up, there are gunshots shortly after the video starts, which some people have found startling. The footage shows a bipedal figure approaching my house. Watch the bottom right-hand corner for the movement. In the beginning, my most protective and aggressive dog is barking, but she's never sounded like this before. Mark continues. There's something moving near the right side of the bushes to the left of the utility pole. Can anyone else see it? I notice shadowy movement, and it seems to be in the field. You can even make out quick bipedal leg movement. Watching on my TV, I think I see 2, maybe 3 entities out there. Initially, I thought they might be horses, but their movements aren't consistent with that. Mark also mentions another peculiar detail. I think something bounced off either the storm shelter or my house, possibly because the siding and roof are metal. Sometimes I've noticed rocks being thrown, often when I'm in the bathroom at the back of the house. I believe these rocks are thrown deliberately, possibly for reconnaissance. Throwing them at different times and locations might help them gather information, such as where people are in the house, which windows they check, what doors they use, and how frequently. It feels like an attempt to observe and cause a disturbance. This new Sasquatch trail cam footage is currently taking the internet by storm. Captured on November the 2nd, 2024, at 3:27 a.m., the incident occurred in a remote wooded area of Connorsville, Indiana. The images were submitted to the Bigfoot investigative group, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, by a man named Josh Banker. Josh stated, "I went to check the trail cameras this morning, and I think I caught a freaking Sasquatch." The neighbors mentioned hearing strange, unexplainable screeching sounds at night coming from the forest. Honestly, I thought it was just deer outside, making the dogs bark all night or something. Well, I guess I won't be going into the woods without my 40 anymore. Josh's trail camera, which is motion and heat activated, captured a burst of 4 photos as soon as a large bipedal figure entered the frame. The second image, in particular, is the most intriguing. The creature appears to be mid-motion, with its arms spread wide and a unique running gait that doesn't resemble how a human would move. While the camera quality isn't HD, the images still provide a clear view of the figure. The creature displays the classic Sasquatch traits: a broad, muscular build, a round head, long arms, thick legs, and dense, long fur or hair covering its body. Josh also shared daytime photos of the area where the camera was placed to provide context for the surroundings. Additionally, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch reported further evidence from the same location. Researcher Jeff Adams discovered highly defined Bigfoot tracks in the muddy area nearby. The prints measure approximately 6 inches in width, far wider than a typical human footprint, and include distinct toes and other details, making them appear very realistic. Jeff and his family also claimed to have seen the creature with their own eyes, not far from where the tracks were found. They described it as a tall, dark, hairy humanoid, consistent with Bigfoot sightings. So what do you think? Could Bigfoot truly be roaming the forests of southeast Indiana? This evidence makes it seem entirely possible. Another chilling encounter, rarely discussed, took place at approximately 11:03 p.m. The caption states that a man heard strange noises coming from his backyard late one night. Curious, he stepped outside to investigate, searching for footprints or any other signs of unusual activity, but reportedly found nothing. Unsatisfied, the man decided to review the footage from his backyard security camera, which was pointed directly at the yard. Upon replaying the video, he was stunned to see a dark, shadowy, humanoid figure running across the frame. A key detail in the footage is the figure's glowing eyes. At the time, the man's dog was outside and can be seen reacting to the figure. Its ears perk up, and its head follows the figure's movement, suggesting that it was indeed present in real time. This eliminates the possibility of the video being edited or manipulated. The figure's sudden disappearance, seemingly vanishing into thin air, has led many to speculate that the encounter could be paranormal. Skeptics argue that it may have simply been a person running through the yard, with a camera failing to render properly. However, this raises additional questions. Why would a human be running through someone's property in the middle of the night? And how would one explain the glowing eyes? The brief but unsettling footage remains puzzling, leaving many to wonder if it captured a glimpse of something elusive and otherworldly, something we weren't meant to see. To this day, the homeowner has no answers and admits he's not eager to find out. This intriguing Bigfoot evidence comes from Vancouver Island, where a witness discovered unusually large and peculiar footprints. News of the find quickly spread, attracting cryptid researchers and even scientists to investigate. They measured the footprints, created casts, and attempted, unsuccessfully, to replicate the stride of the prints.
There's 4 feet right there.
Work, photographed them, filmed them, actually followed the trail in the snow to where the Sasquatch apparently stepped onto some ground soft enough for him to make a partial cast. The eyewitness descriptions, eyewitness drawings, tracks and track photographs and track casts, very important to me, very compelling.
The strides measured an impressive 4 to 6 feet apart, which is an extraordinary distance when you think about it. Biologist and Sasquatch researcher John Bogle weighed in on this case. Here's what he had to say. Bogle, who has a collection of alleged Bigfoot footprint casts that he believes to be authentic, has now added these Vancouver Island prints to his collection. Taking a closer look at the prints, they are extraordinarily wide and much longer than any human or known animal footprint. The details are striking. You can clearly see heel marks and large toes embedded deep into the snow. For comparison, human footprints made with snow boots were placed beside the mysterious tracks, highlighting the sheer size difference. These massive footprints stood out in every way. Vancouver Island, located off Canada's Pacific coast, is not only considered a Bigfoot hotspot, but part of a broader trend in Canada, a country known for frequent Sasquatch sightings. I've covered numerous reports from this region, and it seems to be one of the most active areas for such phenomena. This evidence from Vancouver Island is certainly compelling and worth further investigation.